In this video, I'm going to be discussing why 353,000 new jobs that were created last month is actually bad for the economy. That's the focus of this video. Let's get into it and talk through the details. Alright, so earlier this morning, we got the all-important non-farm payroll number, which is released the first Friday of every month at 8:30 a.m. East Coast time, and that just so happens to be today. So we got that number earlier today, and it is on the behalf of January, and it showed that 353,000 new jobs were created in the month of January. Meanwhile, November and December were also revised higher, showing that more people were hired in those 2 months alone, and we continue to see that the unemployment rate is staying at 3.7%, which is near a 50-year low. But why would all of this actually be bad for the economy? Because as we look at the information here, we think at first glance, hey, that actually looks pretty good, right? This would mean a very strong, robust economy, that 353,000 new jobs were created last month alone, which, by the way, analysts were expecting 176,000 jobs last month, and we came in at 353. That is significantly above what they actually wanted, which, by the way, that's double. That's double what they were actually expecting as far as the analysts' expectations. So again, let me explain really quickly why this is a bad thing and what just came out a couple days ago, as in the announcement, and what this means going forward into mid-March, in about a month and a half from right now, okay? All right, so just a couple days ago on Wednesday, what did we get? We got the wrap-up of the two-day FOMC meeting, which is the Federal Reserve meeting, which they have a meeting every 6 weeks. They come together and they discuss the economy. They discuss a whole variety of things, including interest rates and what they're going to be doing with their policy going forward. Now, obviously, just a couple days ago on Wednesday, as we got the announcement out of the Fed when they wrapped up their meeting, they kept interest rates steady. They held. They did not raise. They did not lower. They just paused. They held interest rates exactly where they are, which is what they've done for the last several meetings, okay? Fine, that's okay, whatever. They didn't move anything at all. They basically just said we're seeing a strong economy, robust hiring, all kinds of things like this. Now, their next meeting is in mid-March. Actually, March 20th is their next meeting, okay? So it's like a month and a half from right now as I record this video. Which, by the way, yes, today is February 2nd as I record this video, Friday, okay? But anyway, so here's the situation with this. The Federal Reserve has made it very clear in their previous meetings and the press conferences with the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. He's made it very clear that they will continue watching the economic conditions and the job and the labor market. That's exactly what we're talking about here, okay? So why is this such a bad thing, and why I want to emphasize this here in the video is because when we continue to see a very strong labor market, a very strong hiring market, right? Like what we saw this morning with this non-farm payroll number. Now, again, I want to point this out really quickly. These are the numbers that they're telling us. Do you think these numbers are maybe inflated a little bit on an election year? Yeah, okay. But again, we can leave that for a separate discussion, but I'm just simply saying we got to take this with a grain of salt, because we know that these numbers are probably being fudged a little bit, right? Just a teeny tiny bit. But anyway, as a result of that, if these numbers are actually, somewhat accurate and the Federal Reserve takes these into consideration, the likelihood of them cutting rates in March, like many people are suggesting, is probably very low. The reason for that is, with hiring as strong as it is right now, this is not showing that the economy is slowing down or that the economy is cooling at all. Now, again, why would that matter? Why would we want the economy to cool down or slow down a little bit? Because that's what's bringing inflation down. Okay, I've talked about this before in other videos, but here's the thing. When the economy is strong and robust and there's max hiring and unemployment is very low, things like this, people have money. When people have a little bit of money, what do they do with it? They spend it, right? What happens when we spend money? It is basically more demand, or it pushes prices up through demand and the supply of that product or service, whatever it is, right? It's simple supply and demand economics on a very basic level, right? Supply and demand. When American people have, or we, the consumers, have money, we spend it, we drive up prices, creating more demand and driving up inflation, or keeping inflation very high. Remember, the whole purpose of the Federal Reserve and what they've been trying to do here for the last couple of years is to bring inflation down to their 2% benchmark. We're still sitting well over 3%. I know it doesn't seem like we're that far away, like, oh, we're only like 1% and a half away from their benchmark. Yeah, but do you realize how hard this last 1 to 1.5% is actually going to be? It's going to be really tough. It's going to be really, really tough. to get it down that extra little bit. Even though it seems like we're not that far away, it's just a little bit more, a little longer, right? A couple more months. No, it's not going to be that long. It's probably going to be another year, probably at least another year to bring this inflation down to that 2% range, that last 1 to 1.5%. And I know that probably seems a little bit extreme, like there's no way. We brought it down from 9.1% down to low 3% range in what, a year? Well, about a year and a half or so, to be fair, a little more than a year and a half. It's going to take a lot longer than that to bring this down. So when it comes down to this consensus of, oh, the Federal Reserve is going to be cutting rates in March, based on these job numbers right here that we just got, I doubt it. Now, here's the thing. We have one more jobs report to come in before the next Fed meeting. In fact, we have 2 inflation reports to come in before the Fed meeting in March as well. We have January inflation, which will be coming out in, I don't know, a week and a half, in mid-February sometime. I'm not sure the exact date at this moment right now. Somewhere in mid-February. So about, I don't know, a week and a half or so from right now, we'll get the next inflation report for the month of January. And then next in early March, we'll be getting the next job number, which will be on the behalf of February. And then again in mid-March, we'll also be getting we'll be getting the inflation report as well, the CPI. The date on that one, again, I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head at this moment. I don't have that information in front of me right now, but it's sometime in mid-March, okay? So we'll be getting those 3 reports. These will be very important to pay attention to because the Federal Reserve will be looking at this information to determine what they're going to do with interest rates in March, yet again, when they get together for the next FOMC meeting. These will be very important to continue watching because these play a key role in their decisions. So there's been a lot of consensus going into this job report today that was saying, hey, the Federal Reserve is likely going to cut as of March. I don't think so anymore. If this number would have come in significantly lower or around the expectations of, say, 176,000 jobs, then I would maybe say, yeah, we could maybe be looking at a cut, a little 25 basis point cut on rates by March. Based on this report, I'm going to say no. They're probably going to hold steady based on this. Now, February could be totally different. Maybe we get a really bad job number for February in early March. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We don't know yet. But if we get a really bad report then maybe they do something. But again, it's only one little report. It's not a very big sample size. So again, my expectation right now is that they continue to pause in March. Now, again, this is bad for the economy because interest rates are so incredibly high right now. It makes it tough for all of us who are borrowing any kind of money on any types of loans, or if you're like me, floating a balance on a credit card, not a fun day, right? Interest rates on credit cards are like 22% right now across the board on average. I can tell you this much, paying 22% interest on a credit card is not fun, okay? If you're not in that situation, just trust me, don't get into that situation. You're not going to have a fun time, okay? Trying to pay that back is not good, and it's not fun to see that much money just literally being blown into the wind, right? So anyway, this is what I want to bring to your attention really quickly here in this video. Of course, I will continue watching everything closely, but these are the latest numbers, and if you've been watching the videos on the channel for a while now, you know that I've talked a lot about the jobs numbers and why this is so important to watch, because this will directly impact the economy, and any further detail on money going out, stimulus being, produced, stimulus being plowed into the economy, things like this. As of right now, if these numbers are truly accurate, the economy is, doing fine according to these measures right now. But again, things can turn around very, very fast. And when we see the economy starting to contract and a major economic recession, that is what happens every time is the Federal Reserve will print up a bunch of money. They'll call it stimulus. They'll give it some fancy name, but it's just stimulus, economic stimulus, and they'll plow it into the economy like they've done so many times before. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends on my social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel, including those I've linked down below in the description or at the top of the comment section. Those are the ones that I've hand selected for you. Otherwise, enjoy your day, take care, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later.